So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming out. It's a pleasure and an honor to introduce 5 scientists who were brave enough to take the Science Slam course at the JRC. We spent 4 modules together, we've sweated, we've laughed, and we've endured hardship. And now they're here with their speeches for your entertainment and joy. In Science Slam, there are no slides. And each speech is maximum 10 minutes long. And hopefully, there's also some entertainment in the speeches we're about to see and about to witness. The first speaker tonight is Piotr Bogusz, and he's going to be the first one to present his speech, A Safer Europe Thanks to Harmonized Standards. Enjoy, Piotr Bogusz.
Thank you, Ben. It is my pleasure to do my coming out in Science Lab. And I will try to explain how the JRC contributes to make safer Europe thanks to harmonized standards. Imagine we're in lovely Florence. It's a sunny day, and we're in the middle of a crowded market, surrounded by merchants that are selling clothes of various colors and high quality by the meter. By the meter. Hold on. How long is a meter? I'm lucky to have you here, because basically you'll help me to say how long it is. Please raise your hand when my 2 hands are, according to you, close to 1 meter. Don't be shy, because otherwise I'll be at 2-3 meters. Thank you very much. You are beautifully reproducible, and we are roughly 20% of the target. But it doesn't matter. Thanks to you, we have agreed on how long is a meter. And thanks to this beautiful tool, we start having the possibility of measuring many things. My height, the distance of the table, and many other things. Now, allow me to present you my super duper gummies of Star Wars. Can I quantify the amount of vitamin C using this tool? Maybe not. What I can certainly do is measure the height of the vial. But otherwise, I could take a capsule, weigh it, and know how much it weighs. But we're still far from the determination of how much vitamin C is in this capsule. Therefore, for this, we would need some other equipment. And let me invite you to my laboratory. Please follow me. Be careful not to disturb the environment, and do not touch any of the solutions on the benches. Now, let's start the experiment to determine how much vitamin C I have in these capsules. Here's a capsule. Basically, I will weigh it. I will dissolve it in a solvent. I will take an aliquot, and I will put it in this white box. It's an instrument. And the instrument will provide you a signal. Now, this instrument has been previously calibrated. And therefore, we know that small signals correspond to small concentrations. Larger signals correspond to larger concentrations. And my signal is somewhere in the middle. And I'm able to quantify how much vitamin C I have in my capsule. Basically, we have used a method that we have developed in our laboratory. This method has been also validated. It has been properly described. All the details were properly described. And then we have also made sure that this experiment provides reliable and reproducible results, no matter what day we do the experiment, no matter what technician does the experiment. Luckily, I saw nobody from you taking notes in order to write down the standard operating procedure. This is not a problem. I can provide it to you, and you could also implement it in your laboratory if you feel the that it is important for you. Now, try to remember the day that your grandma gave you the recipe of your favorite dish. You were so happy to try it, and basically the result was not so beautiful. Something went different from the standard operating procedure. Something also happens when each of you implement the experimental method in your laboratories. We're not sure that you will get always the same results. Therefore, before leaving, I will provide you, each of you, some of the reference samples that will allow you to check that you have properly implemented the method in your laboratory. But in addition to that, while you have tried your very best to implement these methods in your laboratories, I will organize what is called an interlaboratory comparison in order to see if you are getting really similar results. Basically, I will take another sample that I will characterize. I will send it to each of you. You will do your experiments. I will collect all the results and compare. Some of the results will be close to the expected values. Some of your results will be maybe too high or too low. And the only thing that we'll try to understand is why and what happened to explain the results that were different. Basically, what did we do till now? We agreed together on what was the meter. You have seen the development of an analytical method. I provided you also with the reference material that you use to check the implementation of your method. We all contributed to this interlaboratory comparison to demonstrate the capabilities that you have of providing good results. Basically, you have seen the 4 types of standardization that the JRC is contributing to in order to ensure a safer Europe. You will hear, after doing many other presentations dealing with method validation, proficiency testing, and things like that, all these standards that we discussed now. Therefore, I thank you very much, and I wish you a lovely afternoon.
Thank you very much, Piotr. We have time for some questions. Do you have questions for Piotr? There seems to be one, yeah.
David Anderson from Joint Research Centre. Out of all these building blocks of quality, which one would you say is the most challenging, and which one can the JRC best contribute?
Thank you very much, David, for this interesting question. And I'm afraid that I will say that all these building blocks are equally important. If you miss one, you will have bad results in the other ones. Therefore, having methods that are well developed, well validated, and standardized is certainly an important issue. With these methods, you will then characterize reference materials, and then making sure that all of us are measuring equally well is also important. They require different skills, but all these skills are often present in our JRC infrastructure, and therefore we can be proud of having all these blocks developed in a very strict and coherent manner to make sure that the reality of measurement in Europe is well done in order to ensure a safer Europe. I hope that it answers to your question.
Yes, thanks.
There was another question over here, yeah.
Vasiliki, student in ESMOL. How can I participate in what you said, interlaboratory comparison?
Well, Vasiliki, you are coming with a fairly astonishing question that is very relevant. Participating to an interlaboratory comparison is something that is not always available to everybody. It depends case by case, and also it depends on what is the method that you would like to test in order to demonstrate what is your performance. Therefore, if there is an interlaboratory comparison in which your method with which you are familiar can be tested. You'll be automatically prone to be invited, and you will be certainly eager to see how your results compare to the reference results. You may be as good as the others, and you will be very proud of it, maybe with an uncertainty that is slightly bigger than the super duper professionals, but your contribution will be certainly appreciated and well evaluated.
Thank you very much.
We have time for one more question. Yes, over there.
Achille Vincent, journalist at RTBF. I understood, I think, what you explained about the process of standardization and the importance of it. But to my understanding, this can be a very long process. So what would GRC propose in case of a crisis? For example, now we have the coronavirus crisis. I guess that there are methods needed. How can we make sure that the methods that are needed there or used there give the right results?
Well, you're coming with a very specific example in the medical field, and that's where personally I do not have the know-how and not all the information required to answer to this. But there is something that is very similar to that happened less than 2 years ago. It was the fipronil crisis in the eggs. And there, basically it was the same scenario. It was a crisis that needed to be solved fairly rapidly. The Belgian authorities contacted us. We immediately designed an interlaboratory comparison